Namaskar. Good afternoon, dear students. I am Kusum Prasad, and you all are watching us on eVidya channel number 10. And this session is for class 10 students, and the subject is science. And today we are going to understand chemistry. And the chapter that today we are going to understand and learn is chemical reaction and equation. And to teach this subject, our today's expert is Dr. Surendra Kumar Arora sir. वेलकम सर. सर आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत इस सत्र में. नमस्कार.
नमस्ते मैम.
सर हैं एसोसिएट प्रोफेसर डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ केमिस्ट्री से, एसपीसी गवर्नमेंट कॉलेज अजमेर से. So sir will tell you about this chapter, and before we start this session we want to tell you about various medium where you can send your feedback. So dear students and learners, you can send your feedback on our email, that is dth.class10@ciet.nic.in, and you can also call on our number, that is 8800440559. And before we start this session, we want to share a very important message regarding G20. We are proud that India assumed the G20 presidency and will convene the G20 Leaders Summit for the first time in the country in 2023. A nation deeply committed to democracy and multilateralism, India G20 presidency would be a watershed moment in our history, as it seeks to play a very important role by finding pragmatic global solution for the well-being of all. In doing so, manifests the true spirit of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, or the world is one family. So we move to our session, and this session is for class 10 students, and the chapter is chemistry, chemical reaction and equations. And we move to our expert Dr. Surendra Kumar Arora sir. Sir, let's begin this session, sir. Yes,
Thank you,
sir.
ma'am. Good afternoon to all learners and viewers. Today in this session, we will discuss about chemical reactions and equations. Now, what is chemical reactions? Those chemical reaction is the transformation of chemical substances into another chemical substances is known as chemical reaction. For example, rusting of iron, the setting of milk into curd, digestion of food, respiration, etc. are the example of chemical reactions. In chemical reaction, a new substance is formed which is completely different in properties from the original substance. So, in a chemical reaction, a chemical change takes place. The substance which take part in the chemical reactions are called reactant, and the substance produced as a result of chemical reactions are known as products. Now, chemical reaction example. The burning of magnesium in air to form magnesium oxide is an example of chemical reaction. That is, magnesium when react with oxygen, it forms magnesium oxide. Before burning in air, the magnesium ribbon is cleaned by rubbing with sandpaper. This is done to remove the protective layer of basic magnesium carbonate from the surface of magnesium ribbon. Now, the substances which take part in chemical reaction in the above reactions are magnesium and oxygen, so they are reactant. New substance formed after a chemical reaction are called as product, so magnesium oxide is a product. Now, characteristic of chemical reaction. The chemical reaction characteristic is evolution of gas. The chemical reaction between zinc and dilute sulfuric acid is characterized by the evolution of hydrogen gas. That is, when zinc reacts with sulfuric acid, it forms zinc sulfate and hydrogen gas is evolved. The second characteristic of chemical reaction is change in color. The chemical reaction between citric acid and purple color potassium permanganate solution is characterized by the change in color from purple to colorless. Now the chemical reaction between sulfur dioxide gas with acidified potassium dichromate solution is characterized by a change in color from orange to green. A change in state of the substance. The combustion of reaction of candle wax is characterized by the change in state from solid to liquid and gas, because the wax is a solid substance. Water formed by the combustion of wax is a liquid at room temperature, whereas the carbon dioxide produced by the combustion of wax is a gas. There are some chemical reactions which can show more than one characteristics. Another characteristic of chemical reaction is change in temperature. The chemical reaction between quicklime to form slate lime is characterized by a change in temperature, that is, which is a rise in temperature. And the chemical reaction of zinc granules with dilute sulfuric acid is also characterized by the change in temperature, which is also the rise in temperature. Now, formation of precipitate. The chemical reaction between sulfuric acid and barium chloride solution is characterized by the formation of white precipitate of barium sulfate. These are the characteristics of chemical reaction. Now, what is chemical equation? Now, representation of chemical reaction using symbol and formula of the substance is called chemical equation. For example, A plus B react to give C plus D. In this equation, A and B are called reactant and C and D are called product. The arrow shows the direction of the chemical reaction. Condition if there is any condition, then it is generally written above the arrow. Example is, when hydrogen reacts with oxygen, it gives water. The reaction can be represented by the following chemical equation, that is, hydrogen plus oxygen leads to the formation of water. In the first equation, words are used, and in the second equation, symbols of the substance are used to write the chemical equation. For convenience, the symbol of the substance is used to represent the chemical equation. So we can say a chemical equation is a way to represent the chemical reaction in a concise and informative way. Now, what are balanced and unbalanced chemical equation? Now, a balanced chemical equation has the number of atoms of each element equal on both sides. In this equation, zinc, hydrogen and sulfate are equal on both sides, so it is a balanced chemical equation. According to the law of conservation of mass, mass can neither be created nor be destroyed, but it can be transferred from one form to another. Total mass of the element present in the reaction must be equal to the total mass of the element present in the product. If the number of the atoms of each element in the reactant is not equal to the number of the atoms of each element present in the product, then the chemical reaction is called as unbalanced chemical equation. For example, when iron reacts with water, it forms ferric oxide and hydrogen. In this example, the number of atoms of elements are not equal on both sides of the reaction. For example, left hand side only contains one iron atom, whereas 3 iron atoms are present on right hand side. Now, balancing a chemical equation, that is how we can balance a chemical equation. To balance the given or any chemical equation, following these steps are required. Write the number of atoms of element present in the reactant and in the product as shown in table here. Here we can see that number of atoms on right hand side of iron is 1 and number of atoms on right hand side of the atom of iron is 3 and left hand side the number of atoms of iron is 1. And the number of hydrogen atom on left hand side is 2, while the number of atoms of hydrogen on the right hand side is also 2. The number of oxygen atom on left hand side of the equation is 1, while the number of atoms on right hand side of the equation is 4. Now balance the atom which is maximum in number on either side of the chemical equation. That is, iron plus water form ferric oxide and hydrogen. In this equation, the number of oxygen atom is maximum on right hand side. Now to balance the oxygen atom, one need to multiply the oxygen atom on the left hand side by 4, so that the oxygen atom on both the sides becomes equal. So we can multiply water by 4, that is iron plus 4H2O gives ferric oxide and hydrogen. Now the number of hydrogen atom becomes 8 on left hand side, which is more than the right hand side. Now to balance it, one need to multiply the hydrogen on right hand side by 4. So we can multiply hydrogen by 4 on right hand side. After that, the number of oxygen and hydrogen atom becomes equal on both sides. Now the number of iron is 1 on left hand side, where it is 3 on right hand side. So to balance it, multiply iron by 3 on left hand side, so that now the number of atoms of each element on left hand side are equal to the right hand side. Thus this equation becomes a balanced equation. After balancing, we see that the number of iron atom on left hand side and right hand side are 3, that is both these sides the number of iron atoms are equal, and the number of hydrogen atom on left hand side and right hand side are equal. As such, the number of oxygen atom on left hand side and right hand side are also equal. So this is a balanced equation. Now to make equation more informative, writing the symbols of physical state of the substance in chemical equation. By writing the physical state of substance in a chemical equation becomes more informative. That is, if gaseous state is represented by small g within the bracket, liquid state is represented by symbol L within the bracket, solid state is written by the symbol S within the bracket, aqueous solution is written by symbol AQ within the bracket. Writing the condition in which the reaction takes place, the condition is generally written above or below the arrow to chemical equation. Thus, by writing the symbol and the physical state of the substance and condition under which the reaction takes place, a chemical equation can be made more informative. Now, types of chemical reactions. There are combination reaction, decomposition reaction, displacement reaction, double displacement reaction, neutralization reaction, and exothermic, endothermic reaction and oxidation reduction reactions, which are in our course. Now what is combination reactions? The reactions in which two or more reactants combine to form one product are called as combination reaction. A general combination reaction may be represented by a chemical equation given here. A plus B give AB. So A plus B are the reactant and AB is formed as a product. That is, the reactant combined to form product. These type of reactions are known as combination reaction. The example of combination reactions are when magnesium is burned in air, magnesium oxide is formed. In this reaction, magnesium is combined with oxygen, form magnesium oxide. When carbon is burnt in oxygen, carbon dioxide formed. In this reaction, carbon is combined with oxygen. So these are the example of combination reaction. Now what are decomposition reactions? Those reactions in which one compound decomposes into two or more compounds or elements are known as decomposition reaction. And this decomposition reaction is just as opposite of combination reaction. A general decomposition reaction may be represented as follows, that is AB on heating leads to the formation of A and B. When calcium carbonate is heated, it decomposes into calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. When ferric hydroxide is heated, it decomposes into ferric oxide and water. These are the example of decomposition reactions. Now, what is thermal decomposition? The decomposition of the substance on heating is known as thermal decomposition reaction. For example, if lead nitrate is heated, leads to the formation of lead oxide, nitrogen dioxide and oxygen. Now, what is electrolytic decomposition? Those reactions in which compound decompose into simpler compound on passing electricity is known as electrolytic decomposition. This is also known as electrolysis. That is, when electricity is passed in water, it decomposes into hydrogen and oxygen. This is an example of electrolytic decomposition. And the third type is photolysis. Photolysis or photodecomposition reaction, those reactions in which compound decomposes because of sunlight are known as photolysis or photodecomposition reaction. When silver chloride is put in sunlight, it decomposes into silver metal and chlorine gas. It is an example of photolysis. So these are the three types of decomposition reactions: thermal decomposition, electrolytic decomposition and photodecomposition reactions. Now, displacement reaction. The reactions in which a more reactive element displaces a less reactive element from a compound is known as displacement reaction. These displacement reactions are also known as substitution reaction. Further, the substitution reaction or displacement reaction may be of two types: single displacement reaction and double displacement reaction. A general displacement reaction can be represented by using a chemical reaction A plus BC gives AC plus B. Displacement reaction takes place only when A is more reactive than B. If B is more reactive than A, then displacement reaction will not take place. So the example of single displacement reactions are, that is, when zinc react with hydrogen chloride, it leads to the formation of hydrogen gas and zinc chloride. That is, when zinc reacts with copper sulfate, it leads to the formation of zinc sulfate and copper metal. These are the example of single displacement reaction. Now, what is double displacement reaction? Those reactions in which ions are exchanged between two reactants forming new compounds are known as double displacement reaction. That is, for example, if AB reacts with CD, leads to the formation of AC and BD. Examples of double displacement reactions are as follows. When the solution of barium chloride reacts with solution of sodium sulfate, leads to the formation of precipitate of barium sulfate along with sodium chloride. That is, when sodium hydroxide, which is a base, reacts with hydrogen chloride, sodium chloride and water are formed. NaOH, when react with hydrochloric acid, leads to the formation of sodium chloride and water. Double displacement reaction in which precipitate is formed is known as precipitation reaction. Neutralization reactions are also an example of double displacement reactions. Now, what are precipitation reactions? The reaction in which precipitate is formed by mixing up of aqueous solution of two salts are known as precipitation reaction. That is, when silver nitrate reacts with sodium chloride, leads to the formation of sodium nitrate and silver chloride. That is, precipitate of silver chloride is formed. These type of reactions are known as precipitation reaction. Now the neutralization reaction, the reaction in which an acid reacts with a base to form salt and water by an exchange of ion is called as neutralization reaction. Acid reacts with base to form salt and water. These type of reactions are known as neutralization reactions. Now what are oxidation and reduction reactions? Oxidation, addition of oxygen or non-metallic element or removal of hydrogen or metallic element from a compound is known as oxidation. Elements or compounds in which oxygen or non-metallic element is added or hydrogen or metallic element is removed are called as to be oxidized. While reduction, addition of hydrogen or metallic element or removal of oxygen or non-metallic element from a compound is called reduction. Now the compound or element which undergoes reduction is called to be reduced. Oxidation and reduction takes place together. Now what are oxidizing agent? The substance which gives oxygen for oxidation is called as oxidizing agent, while the substance which removes hydrogen is also called as oxidizing agent. The substance which gives hydrogen for reduction is called as reducing agent, while the substance which removes oxygen is also called as reducing agent. Now the reaction in which oxidation and reduction takes place simultaneously is called as redox reaction. When copper oxide is heated with hydrogen, then copper metal and hydrogen are formed. In this reaction, you see that copper oxide is changing to copper. That is, oxygen is being removed from copper oxide.
Yes,
Removal of
sir.
oxygen is going on from a substance is called reduction. So, copper oxide is being reduced to copper.
Thank you so
Now,
much,
this
sir. Sir, it's time to wind up this session. Thank you so much, sir, for guiding and explaining this chapter to our students and learners. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, ma'am, thank you.
So, dear students and learners, before we wind up, we want to share a very important message regarding G20. We are proud that India assumed G20 presidency and will convene the G20 Leaders Summit for the first time in the country in 2023. A nation deeply committed to democracy and multilateralism, India G20 presidency would be a watershed moment in our history as it seeks to play a very important role by finding pragmatic global solution for the well-being of all. And in doing so manifest the true spirit of Vasudev Kutumbakam or the world is one family. और इसी के साथ हमारा आज का ये सत्र ही संपन्न होता है, लेकिन आप कहीं मत जाइए, अभी और भी बहुत सारे सेशंस हैं। अब इससे कुछ ही देर में यानी 3 बजे हम फिर से हाजिर होंगे सोशल साइंस का सब्जेक्ट लेके, जो कक्षा 9 के विद्यार्थियों के लिए है और टॉपिक है द फ्रेंच रेवोल्यूशन पार्ट 2। तो हमें दीजिए इजाज़त। नमस्कार।